عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. صلوات. First of all, Eid Mubarak on such an auspicious occasion. This ayat of the Holy Quran, which I had the honor of presenting in front of you, can be found in Surah Ma'idah, ayah number 3, or the 5th surah, ayah number 3, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding. This ayat of the Holy Quran is more famously known as Ayah Ghadir. It was revealed on Eid al-Ghadir, after the last Hajj of the Holy Prophet. Here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this day I have perfected for you your religion and completed my favor on you and chosen for you Islam as your religion. Today we are celebrating the wiladat of a person, of a personality, regarding whom Allah has said that I have completed your religion. Allah completed His religion upon mankind after the Khilafat, or after announcing the successorship of the Holy Prophet with Imam Ali alayhi salam. So, He's saying, I have completed your religion. For us to say that we have a completed religion, we must obey or we must follow Imam Ali alayhi salam. It's in the Holy Quran. Here we have a very big debate with our brothers in faith, where they say when the Holy Prophet climbed on top of the minbar made out of saddles, and in front of a crowd of 125,000 Muslims, said, Man kunta mawlahu fahada Ali mawla. Whomsoever is leader I am, Ali is his leader. He said this in the deserts of Saudi Arabia, in the scorching heat, in front of 125,000 people. Our brothers in Islam say that when the Prophet said this, the Mawla, when he said Mawla, he meant friend. Let's think of this logically. First, we must ask ourselves this question. In our eyes, what is the Holy Prophet to us? Is he our friend or is he our leader? Is he our guide or is he a normal friend we go around to his house to have a chat? If you think he is your friend, then I personally have doubt in your faith, because you're believing the Prophet not as your leader but as a friend. Second of all, if you say no, when the Holy Prophet said, Man kunta mawlahu, whoever's leader I am, the first Mawla came into the sentence twice. Whomsoever's leader I am, Ali is his leader. Now, some brothers say that no, the first Mawla means friend, the first Mawla means leader, the second one means friend. So his meaning is that whomsoever's leader I am, Ali is his friend. If you study Arabic grammar, if the same word occurs twice in the same sentence, it always means the same. It always gives the same meaning. So therefore, in our eyes, it means leader. In their eyes, it can mean friend. It can mean whatever they want. But from my point of view, I have doubt in your faith. Because therefore, Islam was not propagated by a prophet then. It's by a normal human being. In our eyes, the Prophet is not a normal human being. Now, another thing, he kept the people. Logically, it doesn't make sense that you would stop 125,000 people in the middle of a desert for 3 days just to announce that whoever's friend I am, Ali is his friend. It doesn't make sense. Third of all, we understand that this message was revealed in one day. It was after this message that this ayat was revealed. After the message that Man kunta mawlaha fa'adha Ali mawla. Before that, there's a lot of occasions. We also understand that every prophet was sent down by a miracle. The miracle was meant to be the thing which was most popular at the time. For example, at the time of Hazrat Musa, magic was at its peak. Therefore, the miracle of Musa, what Hazrat Musa was, his stick, which could turn into a snake. Magician, magic. The miracle of Hazrat Isa was that he could bring the dead back to life or cure the ill. At the time of Hazrat Isa, if you study history, medicine was at its peak. Therefore, the miracle of Hazrat Isa was medicine, or bringing the dead to life, or curing the ill. The thing that was popular at the time of the Holy Prophet was speech, eloquency, poetry, literature. What was the Holy Prophet's mu'jiza, his miracle? As you say in English, the gift of the gab. He could speak. His miracle was such that when he spoke, everyone, no matter where they were, would be able to listen to him. And no one could speak above the Holy Prophet. This was the miracle of the Holy Prophet. If we study the life of the Holy Prophet, we hear that majority of the Holy Prophet's speeches never went above 15 minutes. This ayah Ghadir, the Ghadir, when Ghadir took place, the lecture that the Holy Prophet gave lasted for 1.5 hours. What does this mean? It means that he's saying something important. Huh? It means that he's trying to tell you something important. 1.5 hours in the middle of a desert. There's no roof. There's no AC. And he's speaking for 1.5 hours regarding the importance of wilayat, the importance of Ghadir, the importance of Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is the importance of Imam Ali in the Quran. We understand that when we read the Holy Quran, the whole of the Quran is in fact poetry of the Ahlul Bayt. There's Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli. So far he has written three tafsirs of the Holy Quran. And he says every time I finish the Holy Quran, I understand it from a different point of view. His first tafsir of the Holy Quran, from Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim to Sadaqallah al-Azim, was just about the Ahlul Bayt. Every ayat was about the Ahlul Bayt. This is the Holy Quran. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Imam Ali alayhi salam was born on the 13th of Rajab in the year 30 Amul Fil, the year of the elephants. The way the year of the elephant works is that Abraha, the king of Yemen, came down to destroy the Holy Kaaba. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the birds, crows, with stones in the beaks to destroy the elephants. From then on, the calendar became Amul Fil, year of the elephants. Imam Ali alayhi salam was born 30 years after this incident. The miracles of his birth, surrounding his birth, is one, his mother never knew that she was pregnant. She only found out 3 days before when the Holy Prophet came to her house and said, oh yeah, he used to call her Fatima bint al-Asad, his auntie, his mother, because she raised him up. He goes, oh mother, within the next week you will be giving birth to my light, the one who is from me. He will be to me what Harun was to Musa. Bibi Fatima bint al-Asad goes, oh son, I am not pregnant. I have no signs of pregnancy. Holy Prophet replied that this is one of the signs that your son will be a blessed. One day, Bibi Fatima went to the Holy Kaaba to do ziyarat, to pray namaz. When she started feeling pain, she leaned against the Holy Kaaba where the Hajar al-Aswad is, and said, oh Allah, your Prophet has told me that his right-hand man is about to be born. You are here, no one else. It's in your hands. It is at this time where the Holy Kaaba cracked open. Bibi Fatima walked in, the Kaaba shut behind her, she stayed inside for 3 days. When Imam Ali was born, doors cracked open again, the wall. Bibi Fatima bint al-Asad came out with Imam Ali in her arms. His eyes were still closed. She went to Hazrat Abu Talib, gave her son to Hazrat Abu Talib and said, oh Abu Talib, I fear that our son is born blind. Hazrat Abu Talib goes, call the Prophet, call Muhammad. When the Holy Prophet came, he gave the Imam Ali into the arms of the Holy Prophet and said, "O Prophet, this is your right hand man." Here the Holy Prophet looked at Imam Ali and said, "Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen." Assalamu alaykum, O leader of the Mu'mineen. Here Imam Ali opened his eyes and replied back, "Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah, assalamu alayka ya rahmatan lil alameen." This is one of the miracles of the Imam Ali's birth. Now, we always hear about the bravery of Imam Ali in the battlefield. We hear that Imam Ali had the Zulfiqar. The Zulfiqar was a sword which came from the heavens. This happened in the Battle of Uhud when when Imam Ali's sword broke. He went to the Holy Prophet. He goes, "O Prophet, I do not have any more swords. What do I do?" Here, it is narrated in Sahih Muslim and Musnad Ahmad ibn Hanbal, where all of a sudden people started hearing voices from the skies saying, "La fata illa Ali, la sayfa illa Zulfiqar." There is no youth like Ali, and there is no sword like Zulfiqar. This carried on happening until the sword was revealed and was given to Imam Ali. The miracle of the Zulfiqar, what is it? It never killed an innocent. You hear how in the Battle of Khaybar, Imam Ali sliced Marha bin Antar into half, 50-50. Straight off down the middle. Whilst they were on the horse. But nothing happened to the horse. There's a martial arts teacher here. He will be able to tell you that if you go for swing, you always go for the follow through. If you stop the follow through, you'll end up with a dislocated shoulder or shoulder pains. But Imam Ali straight down the sword, straight down the middle, nothing happens to the horse. This is the miracle of Imam Ali and the sword. Another thing is, we all hear about his bravery in the Battle of Khaybar, Uhud, Hunayn, Badr, where he killed, they say in the Battle of Badr, he killed 90% of the people who were killed by the hand of Imam Ali. This was the bravery of Imam Ali. But everyone knows about the salawat. Everyone knows about the bravery of Imam Ali, yet we don't know about the knowledge of Imam Ali. Let's talk about, it's a Thursday night, we just recited Dua Kumail. Dua Kumail is a dua of Imam Ali. If we read Dua Kumail with meaning, you'll end up with tears. Why? Because Imam Ali is talking about our sins. Oh Allah, forgive us. Throughout the whole Dua Kumail, it's about forgiveness, asking for forgiveness. That is why it is highly recommended to recite Dua Kumail on Thursday evenings. It is mustahab to recite it on the 15th of Sha'ban, because it's the birth of the Imam of our time. He will be one of the major reasons for us being forgiven. That's why we should recite Dua Kumail on the 15th of Sha'ban. Another book, Nahj al-Balagha, Peak of Eloquence. Even the Sunnis accept this book. Why do they accept this book? Because there's nothing contradictory. Karl Marx writes about the Nahj al-Balagha. The first khutbah of Imam Ali in Nahj al-Balagha, he goes, "When I read the first sermon of Imam Ali in the Nahj al-Balagha, to me it felt like it was either Ali who created this earth, or he was there whilst the earth was being created." This is a non-Muslim, this is a communist. Karl Marx was a communist. One of the biggest enemies of Islam. He's saying this about Imam Ali. Or George Jardaq, a Lebanese Christian, a priest. He wrote a book called The Voice of Human Justice. It's a book of Imam Ali regarding the history, it's a biography of Imam Ali. One day, once he had finished writing this book, he went to the Muslim publishers in Beirut, in Lebanon. George Jardaq is a Lebanese Christian. Because I've written this book about Imam Ali, about your Khalifa. Will you print it? They go, no. He went to about 4 or 5 publishers. They all declined. As he was coming back, suddenly he went inside the church. The priest, the head of that church, said, "Oh George, why are you so sad?" He goes, "I have written this book on Imam Ali, the 4th Khalifa of the Muslims, yet none of the Muslim publishers are willing to print it." The priest goes, "I'll give you the money to publish this book from the treasury of the Vatican." George O'Douglas goes, "Why? He's not your leader." He goes, "Yes, he's not our leader, but it was because of Imam Ali alayhi salam that Christians are still alive today." Here we understand that Imam Ali is not just the Imam of the Muslimin. He's the Imam of all of mankind, all of humanity. Present miracles of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Shaheed Sadr. He used to go to the Haram of Imam Ali alayhi salam to study every day. Once he wasn't able to go for a couple of days. Here Imam Ali alayhi salam comes into the dream of his sister, Bint al-Huda, Shahida Bint al-Huda. And he goes to Bint al-Huda, "Oh Bint al-Huda, ask your brother Sadr, why does he not come anymore for his classes with me?" This is Imam Ali. He still, till today, he is guiding his community. He's guiding his followers. Or regarding the revolution of Iran, where Imam Khomeini gave the orders while sitting in Iraq for the uprising, everyone to come out into the streets. When it was martial law was in power. Ayatollah Khomeini was told that if we go by this law, people will be massacred. Ayatollah Khomeini replied that this order was not given by me. It was given to me by Amir al-Mu'mineen whilst I was sitting in the Haram. He's still guiding his people till today. Yet we don't follow the teachings of Imam Ali. Regarding music, we all know it's haram. People ask us what's the reason. The biggest reason is the hadith of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He goes, "Whoever listens to music, it is as if they have slapped me across my face." You can't get anything harsher than that. You call yourself a follower of Imam Ali alayhi salam, yet you listen to music. So many hadiths regarding Imam Ali alayhi salam's knowledge. "Ana Madinatul Ilm wa Ali Baba." I am the city of knowledge, Ali is its gate. Or if we were to talk about the knowledge of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and all the trees were turned into paper, and all the oceans were turned into ink, even then we will not be able to write the complete about the knowledge of Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is the knowledge of Imam Ali. We've forgotten him, but the kuffar are taking advantage. The non-Muslims are taking advantage. The Charter of Human Rights in the United Nations, how many rules does it have? The Charter of Human Rights, written by the United Nations, has 50 rules. Written by the greatest minds in the world. Read the Nahj al-Balagha. You have over 250 rules regarding human rights, written down by one person. If we took advantage of what Imam Ali has taught us, what he has told us, the Muslims would not be in such a sad state today. We'd be a superpower in our own right. We wouldn't be having to say yes sir to the Americans or to the Brits. We'd be a superpower in our own right. Look at Iran. It's the most powerful country in the Middle East, even though it has the most sanctions on it. Which country can Iran do business with? No country, except China and Russia, because of the sanctions. Yet it is still the most powerful country in the Middle East. You've got Saudi Arabia, which has a military presence of the Americans, yet they can't do nothing to the Iranians. Why? The main rule of Imam Ali, they follow the rules of Imam Ali. The constitution of Iran is more or less the Nahj al-Balagha. The second constitution, which was written after the Shah, is in fact the will that Imam Ali gave to Malik Ashtar when he made him the governor of Egypt. That is what the constitution of Iran is today. The will of Imam Ali to Malik Ashtar. So, you want to see the greatness of the Holy Prophet? let's think of it in our terms. When we want to get our daughters married off, the husband, when we look for the husband, what kind of person do we look for? We don't go and look for a gangster or a criminal. We look for the most decent guy, knowledgeable, money-wise, financial, education, everything. Let's look at the Holy Prophet when he was looking for a husband for his daughter, Bibi Fatima Zahra. There were so many multi-billionaires at that time. The first, second, and the third Caliph, all of them came to the Holy Prophet to ask for his hand in marriage. But he declined. Because you're not what I am looking for. Imam Ali was too ashamed to go and ask. The Holy Prophet forced him himself. He goes, come to my house and ask for my daughter's hand in marriage. When he went in, the Holy Prophet said, let me go ask Fatima. When he went and asked Fatima, Bibi Fatima did not give a reply. The Holy Prophet goes, I take this as your acceptance. When they got married off, here Imam Ali, the Holy Prophet asked Imam Ali, what do you have for dowry to give as your man? Imam Ali replied, I only have 3 things. I have a pillow made out of the good trees of Kajur. I have a sword and I have armor. The Holy Prophet replied that keep the pillow and keep the sword. You do not need your armor. Once again, prove his bravery. The Holy Prophet is saying you don't need an armor. They accepted. The Holy Prophet was then, once the marriage occurred, the nikah was read, the Holy Prophet said that you have to do the walima for 3 days. The Holy Prophet, the Imam Ali goes, I have no money. He goes, with the money that you have, go buy a lamb. Bought a lamb, and from one lamb, they fed the people for 3 days. Another miracle. This, there's another sign of Imam Ali's wilayat. Very famous story about Aqiqah Yamani. Why do we wear Aqiqah Yamani? We wear Aqiq because it is the first stone which accepted the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. That is why it is one of the signs. It's a hadith of Imam Hassan Askari that there are 5 signs. There are 5 signs of my followers. One of these signs was that the followers of the Ahlul Bayt will always wear Aqiq and a firoza. Durra Najaf. Why do we wear Durra Najaf? Because on the Shahadat of Imam Ali the skies wept blood. When they fell upon the ground, these stones would then create, these drops became stone. That is why we wear Durra Najaf. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. صلوات. Q&A. Any questions?
If, for example, about istikhara.
Yeah.
Say if you are looking to do something in your life and you're not sure, and you do an istikhara, and it comes out correct, like just say for example a business venture, and it comes out correct, but as you are negotiating this business venture, and it doesn't seem to be correct, or something does not seem right, how does that affect istikhara? What should you do in that situation?
See, first thing is that istikhara should not be taken lightly. It says that istikhara should be taken as the last option. Once you have been advised and you still can't come to a conclusion, then you take an istikhara. There are different types of istikharas. One is regarding taking an istikhara from the Holy Quran, depending on the ayat. There are certain ayats which you notice straight away that it is not good. There are certain which says that you'll face difficulties at the beginning, but your future is successful. That we take as yes. Regarding tasbih, this means either yes or no. Upon that, you do a wajib istikhara. If it comes yes as a wajib, then you have to do it. No matter what, you cannot stop. Istikhara came yes, you went into the venture, start facing difficulties. You shouldn't back out. Carry on. Your future is successful. For example, I done istikhara for myself regarding something. And the ayat of the Holy Quran which came out was, you are of those who Allah has cursed in this world and in the hereafter. I run a mile from that job. That's it. Any other? Yeah.
How old was Imam Ali when he died?
Imam Ali al-Islam was 63, I think. Or 53.
63.
63, the same age as the Prophet.
With regards to Nigel Balagha,
Yeah.
who has compiled the Nigel Balagha and how secure, how authentic is it?
Nahj al-Balagha was written by Shaheed Radi, the 7th descendant of Imam Musa Qadim al-Islam. Regarding the Nahj al-Balagha, the fact that it is so popular and so great, we accept it. Second of all, there is no other Maraja or Alim al-Din who has gone against the Nahj al-Balagha or has contradicted the Nahj al-Balagha. Third reason is our 12th Imam. He was followed the Nahj al-Balagha the way it is, for it is all correct. For example, we have another book called Bihar al-Anwar, 110 volumes, full of ahadith. Yet we don't accept all of them. I think out of 110 volumes, only 40% of them are correct. The rest of the hadith are weak. So we don't accept them. Yet it's our biggest collection of hadith in the world. Even the Sunnis study that book. Except the 30, the 31st and 32nd volumes.
Just on Bihar al-Anwar, the volume about Imam Mehdi Islam, is that accepted or is that one?
I should probably repeat the question so we can hear it over the crying.
The question was that in Bihar al-Anwar, volume number 51 of Bihar al-Anwar is the book of occultation, the book of Imam Zamana. It's been translated into English, it's available in the markets. That book it's a very good book, but there are certain ahadith in there which is very weak. Very weak. One is we got a weak riwayat, one is very weak.
There was one particular, it says when Imam Zamana was revealed, he had some writing on his right arm. It was verily, I remember it's verily something.
That is very weak.
Yeah.
Very
Because when I read that, I thought, it don't sound right to me.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of always stuck in my head.
It's very weak. Allama Majlisi also, he writes at the beginning of Bihar al-Anwar, he goes that not all the hadith are true or strong. But I do not have the time to authenticate them.
With regards to the authentication of Nigel Balagha, there are a number of books, again, in the essence of weak, strong, very strong. Are they all of the same caliber? And what is the difference in the books of Nigel Balagha?
Nahj al-Balagha is one book divided into three: the sermons, the lectures, and the sayings. All of them are true. All of them are strong. None of the things written in Nahj al-Balagha are weak. You got our biggest tafsir on Nahj al-Balagha is Sharh Ibn Abi al-Hadid. He's a Sunni. He's not even a Shia. And he was one of them brothers who was against the Shias, enemy of the Shias. Yet he is Sharh, his tafsir of Nahj al-Balagha is the most important. All of us use it. Sharh Ibn Abi al-Hadid Madani. That's the... Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit more about things on human rights and leadership that Hazrat Ali said in Nahj al-Balagha
particularly in the context of what's happening, you know, in this present day and age?
There's one which hits me the most regarding human rights, where even people use it today, that do upon others what you would do to yourself, or what you wish for yourself. That's what you do upon others, human rights. And that's his first hadith on human rights. Imam alayhi salam regarding that goal says that if everyone was to follow this, there'd be world peace. This hadith is also in the Charter of Human Rights written by the United Nations. There's another book, the Treaty of Human Rights or something like that, written by Imam Zain al-Abidin al-Islam. It's been translated into English. It's a booklet, it's a risala. Risalatul Huquq it's called. Has been translated to English. It's a very good book. It's a booklet, about 50 pages, less than 50 pages. You can finish it in a day. Very strong.
Treatise of Rights.
Charter?
Treatise of Rights.
Treaties of Rights. Very good book. It's available everywhere. Should have it on PDF format, as it has proved.
Was Imam Ali actually blind when he was born?
No. He wasn't blind because the first face that he wanted to see was of the Holy Prophet. Yes.
What we have always heard is that that Hazrat Ali, when he was born, he was still in the Kaaba when Rasul Khuda sallallahu alaihi wasallam came in, and
This is that when Imam Ali was born, people were worried. Up until then, they went in to get the keys to the door. By that time, the Holy Prophet had already entered. As soon as the Prophet entered, the wall cracked, and Bibi Fatima bint Asad walked out. The place where the Holy Prophet went in is false. The only time the Holy Prophet went inside the Holy Prophet never went inside the Holy Kaaba. Even when he conquered Makkah, he sent Imam Ali inside to break all the butts, the idols. That's why you say Nurun ala Nur, light upon a light. When the feet of Imam Ali were upon the shoulders of the Holy Prophet, that is where you say Nurun ala Nur.
When Imam Ali was a baby, is it true that he snapped a snake in half?
I've read this one, I can't remember it. It's true.
It is true.
It's true, I can't remember when. It was when Imam Ali was in his cradle and the snake entered in, and Imam Ali ripped the snake into two parts. It's true.
Just looking at Najaf and Kufa apart, and obviously as far as I know, Imam Ali lived in Kufa, Islam, and he passed away. He was in Kufa. Is there anywhere written how he ended up being buried in Najaf?
He was buried in Najaf because when was he buried? He was buried in the middle of the night, the same way his wife, Bibi Fatima Zahra, was buried in the middle of the night. It is said that as they were taking the body of Imam Ali Islam, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein were holding the coffin, the body from the front, and angels were holding it from the back. They took it to a place where no one could go, no one knew where it was. The qabr of Imam Ali Islam was not found until the 5th Imam, or was the 6th Imam. Up until then it was hidden. Only the Imams knew where the grave of Imam Ali Islam was. Because they knew that the enemies would come and desecrate their grave. Muawiyah was the biggest enemy of Islam. He would desecrate the grave. The same way they said, his forefather said that they would desecrate the grave of Bibi Fatima Zahra. Same way. Yeah.
Is it true that Bibi Zainab put a curse on Yazid's grandparents or something to make them blind?
No.
Why was Imam Ali born in the Holy Kaaba?
The birth of Imam Ali from the Holy Kaaba is a sign of pure birth. Because the Holy Kaaba, even at that time, was holy to all the religions. Even the pagans. Pagans would come and do tawaf around the Holy Kaaba. It's trying to place the importance of Imam Ali. Our brothers right now are trying to disprove that theory. They try to cover up the crack which occurs they cement it, but 13th of Rajab every year, the crack reappears. No matter what, you cannot hide the birth of Imam Ali. Or even today in Pakistan, they're publishing Sahifa Sajjadiyya as Sahifa Umar. Nahj al-Balagha is the book of Abu Bakr. Sahifa Umar has already been printed, I've already got a copy of it. Exact same. There is no difference. Only difference is that the author is Abu Bakr, Umar. The problem is that our community is not interested in religion. Their community is not interested in religion. The people who will be able to tell this difference are those who have studied. Majority of the people, 10, 15 years down the road, if I don't teach my kids the correct way, they'll probably think that Sayyid Umar is correct. You have to teach them the truth. Like they say, the truth hurts.
Are there any more questions? Are there any more questions?
What about the ladies?
I think they're sleeping.
Wouldn't it be a step forward if all the Maulanas, like, I mean, I'm just saying you are, mashallah, English oriented, if they were all oriented towards English, because in the British countries or in the United States, all the other countries, most of the countries are English speaking. Would it be a very good innovation for them to have a madrasa in Qum or wherever they study in English?
You can't have a Hausa in English because none of our books are in English. Our books that we study are in Arabic and Farsi. They're not even in Urdu. So therefore, we are taught Arabic and Farsi. It depends. Now, after that, it depends on the Maulana or the student himself whether he wants to learn English or not. Like, for example, we do have English classes in the Hausa that teach English language. But then, once again, it also depends on the person himself, whether he's interested in the language or not.
I think still quite a bit of work keep going about people are translating from Arabic
into English.
But this is one way of dealing with that.
Yeah.
Either the people learn themselves,
Yes.
or if you want any English Maulana, as you are one of them, you have to create your own.
Yeah.
We raised this point with Abba Kashmiri on this matter, and they said, why should we provide you? You should have your own. You should have
That's
your
not-
own children about it.
That's not an answer.
Well,
That's the answer.
this is the best answer he could give. And I was stunned to see, to
See,
learn
it's also on the Maulana himself that he wants to propagate religion, is living in the West. He should therefore know that 90% of the youth can't speak the mother language or won't be able to understand it. Therefore, it's up to the Maulana himself to go and learn the English language. My dad, he's a Maulana. He can't speak English, but for the past 4 years ago, he only got his English GCSEs and A-levels. Now, once a week, he also gives lectures in English because he knows the future in the West is English.
Yeah.
I call myself lucky that I was beaten up by my father and taught Urdu. I can speak, read and write Urdu. I'm grateful for that.
Wow.
I haven't forgotten my mother tongue. But a lot of the parents, they're busy, they don't have the time to teach their kids. Maulana should go around and teach themselves English.
So what is the actual solution to this problem? As you're saying, you don't agree with the...
Send the Maulana to an English speaking course. At the moment, nowadays, it's the rule that those who want to become a citizen of the UK have to do the IELTS exams. The IELTS exam is not easy. They learn English just because of that. Become a British national, they learn the language. They have to.
But there are some people from Africa, they are very good in English, and they are very good in Arabic, and because it is their own language as well. So I think they are the people who should be coming forward to, I mean, as a chap from, well learned from Qom came over here, there was tremendous response when he came over here. And I think those people who can speak English should go and learn the religion rather than saying, yes, oh, we shouldn't bother about that. I mean, the only problem is parents don't like to have their children to be, sent away. I think this is one hurdle in there. I mean, the children are, I should have my child right in front of me. I shouldn't send to Qom and any other place.
It depends on the parents and the child itself.
And priority of things.
Like when I told my father I wanted to go to Qom, he was happy. My mom was sad. It happens.
Why is it wajib, like for example, yesterday, to read Salatul Ayat on a lunar eclipse?
Regarding namaz ayat, when do you recite namaz ayat? When natural disasters take place. Namaz ayat is there to protect you. That when you are in prayer, whilst this natural disaster is taking place, you are protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing will happen to you if it is a natural disaster. Man-made disasters, you can't say this. But natural disaster, nothing will happen to you.
Even if you're in the same place?
Yeah. For example, Japan earthquakes taking place. If you were in namaz at that time, the minute the earthquake started to shake, namaz ayat became wajib. Go straight in and start reciting. Nothing will happen to you.
Is that just like yourself or the people around you?
No, just yourself. That is why namaz ayat is wajib. It's not wajib al-kifaya, it's wajib al-aini. It's wajib upon everybody.
What's the time period for that?
The time when, like yesterday's moon eclipse, lunar eclipse, was 1 hour long, I think. For that 1 hour. You can recite in qaza, because it's a wajib namaz. You can recite the qaza afterwards.
How do you recite that namaz?
That namaz is a 2 rakat namaz, in which after the first surah, Surah Al-Hamd, you recite 5 surahs. After every surah, you're going to ruku, going to qunut. After the 5th qunut, you're going to sajda and recite 2nd rakat. Or you can get 1 surah and divide it into 5 parts. For example, you take a surah which has got 5 ayats. You recite 1 ayat, ruku, qunut, 2nd ayat, 5 times.
For both the rakats?
Both the rakats.
It doesn't matter which country the disaster is happening in.
No. If it occurs in your... Like for those who live in northern Scotland, namaz ayat is not wajib, because the lunar eclipse was not seen there.
So it has to happen at where you live in.
It was wajib in Edinburgh because it was seen in Edinburgh. In London, it was a 50-50 chance. Namaz ayat was then ihtiyat, just in case. Because it was a 50-50 chance that you'd see it or not.
Unfortunately, there's so many earthquakes in New Zealand as well.
Those who live in New Zealand, they recite it. If it happened here, we recite it here.
Should it be recited even when the weather conditions are adverse, like heavy snowfall, those sort of things?
The sighting of that thing happens, or can we read it later on as well?
Later on, you can read it as qaza, not as a wajib. You have to recite it during the period in which is occurred.
Because I only found out late, so I just read Ada.
Yeah, that's correct.
So if you find out late, the lady read Ada.
If you find out later on, like you found out today, you recite the qaza for it. For example, yesterday was between 9 and 10.
Yeah, 9, 10.
9 and 10. If you didn't recite it in that period, anything after 10 is qaza. Sorry, what were you asking?
You know, when the weather's bad, floods, snow, that sort of...
Regarding floods, yes. Not snow.
I've heard namaz in Maghrib goes qaza at 12 o'clock. Is that true?
Here, they say that namaz al-Maghrib and Isha become qaza at midnight. This is not the 12 a.m. This is the Islamic midnight. There's a calculation for that. I can't remember. I always get confused on this one. Because you have to add on the time difference and then divide it by 2 to figure out the night. I'll tell you tomorrow in class.
Sunday.
It's not just a little bit before. Just a little bit before sort of Fajr. Before just that.
Is it not start of Maghrib to start of Fajr, then half in between that?
See, namaz al-Subh becomes qaza when the sun rises, or when you can see the redness in the sky. That's when namaz al-Subh becomes qaza. Namaz al-Zuhr becomes qaza 10 minutes before namaz al-Maghrib. That 10 minutes is the actual time for namaz al-Asr. Like our brothers do different times. If you recite, for example, you've got 10 minutes left, namaz al-Zuhr has now become qaza. You recite namaz al-Asr first, then you do the qaza of namaz al-Zuhr.
That's
so that
before Maghrib.
Yeah, so that you've got the actual benefit of reciting namaz al-Asr on awwal waqt. It's the same with Maghrib. Maghrib becomes qaza 10 minutes before midnight, when it is time for Maghrib. So you recite, let's say for example, 12 a.m. is when Isha becomes qaza. 10 to 12, namaz al-Maghrib is qaza. If you cannot recite, if, for example, you got certain people who recite namaz al-Isha in 10 minutes. Now, you know, if you recite Maghrib first, your Isha will become qaza. Here, you recite your Isha first, then your Maghrib as qaza. So that your Isha or your Asr is recited in awwal waqt, and you get the full blessing of the namaz.
So Isha, I was told that you can read Isha and Maghrib just before Fajr.
No.
Is that not right?
That's qaza.
So why these Maulana Sahab, different Maulana tell different stories?
That's up to them.
The concept is that, or what we have been told, is that your Maghrib will become qaza at midnight. So you work it out.
The Islamic midnight.
The Islamic midnight. But your Isha does not become qaza till about 10-15 minutes before Fajr.
The namaz is qaza after the Islamic midnight. I think, I don't know about here, but in London, midnight is 11:30, the Islamic one.
I have another question.
There's another question.
Yeah.
When you're traveling,
Yeah.
and the namaz time starts there while you are traveling,
Yeah.
and by the time you come home, the time for namaz is gone. That's midnight, as you say. It's not there. So do we pray qasr or full?
No, if you have come back to your home, your namaz is qaza, you recite full. It's only whilst in traveling that namaz is qasr.
If you come back home, there's still time, still
What I mean to say is when we are in the journey.
Yeah.
And the time for namaz starts.
Yeah.
Say like Maghrib.
Mm.
By the time you get home, it's past midnight.
Yeah.
So
Your qaza will be full. It will not be qasr.
okay, always.
I was going to ask you a different question, but I just wanted to ask you something on this.
But you,
So if,
when you're traveling,
I
you
think I'm
can't.
still asking.
I say like I think the question is like say for example you're in London and your salah was qasr, yeah.
So, let me try it. I live in London. I traveled to Birmingham. Whilst I was in Birmingham or I was on the motorway, it was namaz time. But I didn't pull over to recite namaz. When I came back to London, namaz time is now qaza. At this time, I have to recite my qaza namaz. Is my qaza namaz going to be qasr or is it going to be full? Is that the question? Full.
Yeah.
My namaz is going to be full because I've come back to my own destination.
Does that apply also? So if, say you went 50 miles out to do some business, your namaz is still ada.
Yeah.
So you said, well, I can still come back home, I'm more comfortable reading in my own house. So you came back home. But because you travelled the 50 miles, is it still
No.
or is it?
Now that you've come back home, your namaz is full. It's only when you're in travel, only when you're travelling that your namaz is qasr. The minute you have come to your house, back home, whether it's qasr, whether it's qaza or on time, your namaz is full. Only in travel. And it lasts for 10 days. For example, I travel somewhere for a period of 10 days. My namaz is qasr. If I know for 100% that I'm going to stay more than 10 days, my namaz is full. But, for example, I go to another country on a business trip. Stay there for 10 days, my business was not done. Now, I do not know how long I will stay. Your namaz will still be qasr up until a month. Your namaz is qasr. If you stay there for more than a month, your namaz is now full.
Well, like say for example, say we're in Birmingham, and there we stayed a couple of days, so namaz is qasr. Now we're leaving at say after Zuhr. Is that, and we know that you're going to get home by say Maghrib. Now, is our salah still qasr? We're in Birmingham, but when we get home, is our like say Maghrib Isha, does that become full?
Yeah. Okay. Your Zohar, so you mean?
Zohar, is that going to be qasr or is that going to be full?
If you come back to Scotland...
No, but say if I'm reading it in Birmingham.
If you're reading in Birmingham...
Yeah, but I leave after Zohar and Asr, and by the time I get back home, it's time for Maghrib Isha, but now that I'm back home, is my Zohar and Asr qasr and my Maghrib Isha full?
Where are you going to recite your namaz Zohar and Asr?
No, in Birmingham.
You're going to recite in Birmingham? That's
yes.
qasr.
Qasr. And then when I get home, I'm going to recite
Maghrib Isha. Okay, Maghrib Isha is full.
So just to wrap things up, I think the best of days are those days that you learn something. Inshallah, these days we have the Maulana Sahab will be filled with days that we learn something. And please accept our my congratulations to you all on the day of the birth of our first Imam, Ali alayhi salam. May all your du'as be granted. The son to Maulana for coming and reciting the majlis, asking your questions and answers. These sessions happen throughout these days. Every Thursday there is the majalis. It'd be good to see you all if you can attend. And they're followed by these question and answers. Friday we are holding children's classes between 6 and 8 o'clock. Sunday we are holding them between 10:30 and 1.